All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er draft review. The Niners have just picked in round 5, and they took a defensive end out of Georgia. Very interesting prospect, Robert Beal Jr., a defensive end from Georgia, 6'4", 255. He goes to the 49ers in the 5th round at pick number 173. Now, there were more accomplished guys out there. Jose Ramirez from Eastern Michigan was out there as well. But Beal is intriguing. He was a 5-star prospect coming out of high school, highly rated high school player at a Peach Ridge high school, and was a 5-star guy. And then started only 2 games in 2021. What really stands out, though, 83-inch wingspan. The guy's got almost a 7-foot wingspan. He also ran 4.44 in one of the workouts, 4.48 in the other at 6'4", 255. So he's a developmental edge rusher. 34 and 5/8 inch arms, 10.5-inch hands, big hands, long arms, unbelievable speed, crazy wingspan, but only a part-time player. This is a guy who this is what happens at Georgia. And I mentioned this the other day. This is what happens at Georgia, Bama, LSU, Clemson, maybe a couple other spots. They recruit so many great players that there are big-time players who don't see the field, believe it or not, just simply because there's so many other talented players. And Beal Jr. is one of those guys. 5-star guy, and he just never really got on the field. If you look at his career, he only has 10 starts in 5 seasons there in Athens, but he has flashed pass rush moves as a part-time player and big-time upside. So he's the Niners, of course, are looking for that 9 technique. They're looking for that outside rusher. He's got burst. He's got lateral agility. He was supposed to be a 3rd-round pick. So, once upon a time, Robert Beal Jr. was thought, okay, this guy's going to be a 3rd-round pick. 2021, he only started 2 games for Georgia, and yet he led the Bulldogs with 6.5 sacks that year. So there's some serious talent there. Played 1 game, I think, as a freshman, 6 games as a sophomore, 7 games as a junior in 2021. He's finally busted out. But, really intriguing draft choice for the 49ers for a lot of reasons. I mean, when you look at what an athletic marvel this guy is, at 6'4", 250, he's from Duluth, Georgia, as I said, Peachtree Ridge High School. His career highs, he had 5 tackles against Arkansas State in a game in 2019. He had 4 quarterback pressures against LSU in a game this last season. He had a quarterback sack against 9 different teams over his career. The most recent one was against TCU this year. This year he played in all 15 games. He started 8. He had 26 total stops, 20 quarterback pressures, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 quarterback hurry in the season-opening win over Oregon. So an interesting guy. 4 tackles and 4 quarterback hurries in the SEC championship win over LSU. And in that game, he had a strip sack. And then he had 1 tackle in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl win over Ohio State, and had 3 tackles and a sack in the national championship game against TCU. So the Niners, it's funny, there were more accomplished guys on the board. There were guys with better collegiate production than what Beal has done thus far. But when you look at the total package, I think the Niners are trying to catch lightning in a bottle here at pick 173. They're seeing a guy who could have been a day 2 pick, who's got 4.4 speed off the edge with an 83-inch wingspan, and they're saying, you know what? Let's give Chris Kocurek a big-time talent, and let's see if he can coach him up. To me, this is a statement about upside, but it's also a statement that that Kocurek is a terrific coach and can get production out of talented players. This guy is a talented player. You don't become a 5-star recruit for nothing. and it just hasn't happened for him. But this happens a lot at LSU and Georgia and Alabama specifically because they get so many great players. They get so many 4- and 5-star recruits that everybody can't play. And then there are guys that literally, sneak through the cracks and wind up playing in the NFL who didn't really do a whole lot at Bama or didn't really do a whole lot at Georgia. And if you've seen the number of players taken from Georgia, you can see that it's a factory. I mean, Nolan Smith had an incredible 40 time, but this guy's 40 times right there with him. I mean, 4.44 is a very fast time for a 6'4", 255-pound athlete. That's cooking. That is absolutely cooking off the edge. And then you mix in big hands, long arms, and in a lot of ways he has flashed. Beal has flashed big time burst, big time lateral agility, and maybe they're catching lightning in a bottle. There's no question that he has flashed some pass rush moves. There's games where he's looked really, really good. And they're just gambling on traits. At this point in the draft, this is where you start to go, okay, who should have gone on day 2 that's here on day 3? And a 5-star high school recruit from Georgia with 83-inch wingspan and 4.44 speed off the edge at 255 is a good place to start. So, to me, in a lot of ways, this is a boom or bust kind of a pick. The 49ers have room for edge rushers. They lost Ebukam, they lost Amenahue, they lost Jordan Willis. Interestingly, in the draft guide, one of the comps on Robert Beal, Jordan Willis. So they compared him to Jordan Willis coming out of K-State. So the 49ers lost 650 to 700 snaps at defensive end, and they need to go edge rusher. I would imagine, the Niners have the next pick is pick 216 in round 6, and then they've got multiple picks in the 7th round, and then who knows who they'll sign after the draft. But I would almost guarantee you they're going to go edge rusher again. They're going to look for another edge rusher. This one's exciting, though, because when you're talking about, a big-time program, a 5-star recruit, a guy who potentially could be 260 running in the 4.4s, that's a 9 technique, candidate that I want to see. I'd love to see what this kid looks like this summer in camp. As I say, it's a little bit of boom or bust because he doesn't have a lot of college production to lean on. There's not a lot there. But if you look at the total profile of the player with the burst, the agility, the size, the speed, the wingspan, and the flashes he's already shown, I think this is a very exciting pick for the 49ers. All right, hope you enjoyed the draft video on Robert Beal Jr., the 49ers pick at pick number 173 here at the end of the 5th round. Keep it locked on the Krug Show for all your top Niner information right through the draft leading into training camp. And thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. And once again, thanks for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.